Now, Jackie, do you want to restate your question?
Well, I was speaking to someone that we all know, and we were talking about asymptomatic. And I just wanted him to understand that even if you are asymptomatic, you can still pass the virus on to somebody else.
He knew that.
You didn't know that.
All right, we won't bring family discussions into the Rotary meeting. All right.
Oh, you're using me against Bill. I see. Okay.
Hey, Chuck, take control of the meeting. We're going on mute.
Thank you,
By the
Bob.
way, I think there's been a lot of confusion about the CDC's recent change in their recommendations that of if you've been exposed to COVID, or even if you've had COVID and you're now free of symptoms, how long can you wait, or how long do you have to wait to go back into public? The original recommendation, if you've been exposed, you should quarantine for 2 weeks, and then they started waffling about 1 week, and now they say 5 days if you've had a negative test, and that can be a negative antigen test, which is the quick test. And some people have said, well, that's, is that based on science? And the fact is that is based on science. They've done a lot of studies on how on spread and look very carefully at who spread it to who, and they've shown that if you get exposed and you get COVID, all the spread was within 5 days, and not nobody spreads it beyond 5 days in those tests. Not that it's impossible. Again, nothing's 100%. But if you have a negative antigen test, you're very unlikely to spread COVID. So the new CDC's recommendation about shortening the quarantine period is based on science.
I saw yesterday on the news that as recently as yesterday, the doctors saying that you could test up to 12 weeks positive for COVID after the infection. So even though you don't have it.
Well, yeah, but that's with the PCR test. The PCR test, which is the test you have to send off and takes 2 days to get back usually, that tests for remnants of RNA of the virus, and so you can, it's such a sensitive test that you can have remnants of the virus in your secretions, but you're not contagious.
I think we need a good 2,200 page document, like Congress when they go to pass
the
a law.
problem is, Chuck, that everything keeps changing.
Yeah.
Our the virus keeps changing. Our understanding of the virus keeps changing. So the recommendations keep changing. It tends to be very confusing, and it's very hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Well, the basic recommendations are the same.
Well,
wear a mask, wash your hands, keep your social distance.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds to me like you're right, Diane. Not that I'm happy about it, but yeah. Okay, if there's no more questions, why don't we move on? It's kind of related, but we will plan a future holiday dinner once this passes to the point where we all agree that it's safe to meet back together again. We'll kind of take it week by week. Paul's suggesting maybe by the end of February, things will slide down the hill a little bit, hopefully a little sooner. But it is what it is, and we'll just take it as it comes. And weekly, we will discuss a little bit about, do we want to meet in person again or not? We'll take it week by week. Roberta is on board with that. I did talk to her and she understands and she has told me personally, she said, I'm just happy when you guys can come back. You're welcome back. I just, she's taking it all in stride. She's not upset about it or anything like that. So thankfully we have that. So real quick, let's make it official. Who's in favor of meeting in person next week? Raise your hand. I don't see anybody. Okay. Officially, we will meet via Zoom again next week and we'll take the matter up again next week based on the news up to that point. Again, kind of related. I know I get a little cranky sometimes and a little short, but we all need to get through this. And the thing that I don't like is blaming and shaming people. I can tell you personally, I've had 3 people, one of them my brother and 2 other close friends that were resistant to taking the vaccines. One of them is a healthcare worker, a nurse, and I had discussion, just talk with them and didn't blame or shame them, didn't tell them if they don't get vaccinated, then they could be part of the problem that are killing people and stuff like that. I just had discussions with them. My brother ended up getting the vaccines and, I basically, what's your problem with it? Tell me what is not making you want to get the vaccine. And they made some good points. Then I kind of counter them, not arguing, just, we'll think about this, look up a few websites, give them some information. It's basically just giving them some information, but respecting their choice and allowing them to read through what you send them and make their own choice. All 3 of them did end up getting the vaccines. One of them, a very dear friend of mine, a lady, she's actually a nurse, and she was resistant to getting the vaccines because for almost 30 years, she's had rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease. And her fear was she already has an autoimmune deficiency and problems that getting the vaccine could harm that even further. But, she ended up getting it finally, and now she's a strong proponent of talking to people, not blaming and shaming them, talking to people and using herself as an example. I have an autoimmune deficiency. The vaccines did not harm me in any way. So I'm just asking everybody to be a little considerate of each other, talk to each other, not blame and shame, and have a little compassion. Don't jump all over people, give them the space to make their own decisions. And there are going to be people that decide not to get it. And if we say that wearing masks and getting the vaccines protects ourselves, maybe not 100%, and you also have the choice not to meet with that person in person. So you can call them on the phone, you can email back and forth to them, but you don't have to be nasty with them. So if anybody else wants to chime in on those thoughts, please go ahead. Okay.
I'll just say you're absolutely right, Chuck. You're not going to convince other people to change their minds by blaming and shaming them. And I applaud your efforts to get other people to get the vaccination, and I applaud your success in doing that.
Well, thanks. Thank you, Paul. This is tough. It's tough for all of us. And, I'm going to have my moments where I get a little cranky too, but let's just all be on each other's side in this. We need each other, whether we want to admit that or not. So we'll get through this, and I think this is one of the more difficult times right now, but let's all just kind of prop each other up and be each other's advocate, and we'll get through this. Okay, any other comments on that or thoughts? Okay. Reggie's still looking for some suggestions for speakers, and we'll go back to virtual for now. So again, we can kind of widespread that a little bit. Doesn't have to be somebody local. And send Reggie your suggestions. I want to talk a little bit about things we're doing right now. This afternoon, I'm going to stop up in Onancock and go to the Willie Crockett Studio of Art. I'm going to pop in there and talk to them a little bit. And Bill Payne is kind of running this thing of trying to get some donations of art pieces, and we'll hold raffles. And once we start collecting some of it, we already had a gift from Rick Hubbard of, what's her name, Thelma?
Peterson.
Yeah, Thelma Peterson.
Hey, Chuck,
yeah.
not to interrupt you, but I've got the list of items we're trying to get teed up. If we can share them with the group, because we're looking for tax.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Do you see it?
Yes, we do.
Okay, first of all, we all have to thank Chuck for a tremendous idea. It seems to be the best idea for a raffle since pockets and pants. So congratulations, Chuck. And we've got a theme. We have a list here of Eastern Shore artists. And Rick Hubbard has been very instrumental. Rick, are you still with us? I think he dropped off.
No, he's there, Bill.
Where is he?
He's there under you.
Oh yeah, I see you. He's next to me. So Rick has come up with some leads for us. If you know any of these people, it's raise your hand, because we're going to be asking them for their treasures. In fact, I had forgotten about Mary Ann Clark, Mark's mother. She's a tremendous I think, is it watercolors?
Yeah.
He paints. Anyway, we'll get Mark to hit her up. Marty Burgess, Jackie and I know, I think we can. Does anybody know John Hayrow? He's a sculptor. He's over in Sherrington. So I'll go by there and see what he has, but we have 10 prospects. Harrow, thank you, Jackie. So if we can get 10 pieces of art, I mean, this thing could be huge. We'll have to figure out how to package it, how to display it, but we've got all that talent on board, right, Jim? Right, Jim? Okay, there you go, Jim.
Yeah.
So we've got as Chuck said, he's going to start this afternoon. So if you don't know any of these people, that's fine. We'll get to them. We'll gather up our art, and then we'll put the package together. And I think we can make a ton of money again in this spring time frame.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt, Chuck, but I had this teed up, so I thought you might want to.
No, that's good. That's a good lead in. The idea is it's sort of a good for everybody. So the artists will get some recognition. We'll make sure on the raffle tickets or in some way we're advertising these specific artists donated these items for the community. So first of all, their artwork is highly in demand. So we'll get a lot of people wanting to buy the tickets as a raffle. At the same time, we're advertising these artists to the communities. Some of these are very well and known and highly in demand artists, like so they get publicity, we get publicity, and we get the funds to do a lot of things in the community. And you know, even if they're not going to give us their piece de resistance piece of art, but even a small piece of art can be highly in demand. I can tell you in Willie Crockett's case, I read his obituary and some other articles about him. The Boy Scouts will come up to him and say, "Hey, Willie, can you donate a piece of art for us to raise money for the Boy Scouts?" And while they're talking, he's painting. And when they get finished talking, they have the discussion, he hands the painting to them and says, here, auction, or, raffle this off. He was very free with passing art around. So we're not looking for the Mona Lisa. We're just looking for a piece of art that's representative of the artist. And if they can donate it, we will certainly give them some publicity, which will help them too. So that's the idea behind this. If anybody else thinks of anything or a person or a piece of art that they want to donate, please contact Bill Payne. He's kind of putting this all together. All right, I'm not sure, we don't have Medi here, whether anybody else outside of Medi has any news on the basket raffle, how that all went. But I'd be interested in hearing what the results of all that were. And the invisible history, we do have several people here that are part of that, even though Medi's she's traveling again. So anybody have any updates on the invisible history project they want to bring up?
Over the last couple of weeks, there's not been a lot of activity, obviously.
Yeah.
We have continued to identify individuals that we can interview to get background information on them so that we can incorporate it in the overall big picture. Some of those that have been interviewed, we're working on doing the correcting the transcript and those types of things. So there's still some things going on in the background, but there's not been a lot of activity as far as interviewing new people. As a matter of fact, I've been trying to reach a person in Maryland since I'm going to be going up to Maryland to see if I could interview her while I'm up there, and I've been unable to reach her, but there's certainly still activity, going on at this time. But that's about it, Chuck.
Okay. All right, Bill, why don't we sneak into Happy Dollars? All right. With all the misery that's going on right now in the last couple of weeks, how about somebody that's happy? Throw out some good news for us. Go ahead, John Burns. We're interested in what you got to say.
Well, first of all, I'm going to start out with $75, okay? And
Wow.
the reason is Paul's been sending me notes every week saying the club was going bankrupt in my absence, and I felt bad about it. So I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer here. Everything I've got to say is good. Since I last saw you guys, I've been to Budapest, Bratislava, Vienna, Passau, West Virginia, Athens, Georgia, not Greece, and I've got a Georgia shirt I'm wearing for the game, Paul, just so you'll know. Also, on my birthday, which is a meeting day, I went to a funeral in Norfolk for Ann Hayward Walker's mother. And the side story on that is it was at the big cemetery, the Forest Lawn Cemetery on Granby. While we were gathering for this service, another service is coming, and it was literally a white carriage with two white horses and a guy in a top hat, glass, the whole bit. So I've decided that's how I want to go out. I haven't told Tom this yet, but I want him to arrange that. And somebody told me that they actually saw this same carriage, maybe not the same carriage, down at, I just went totally blank, our pastor's church at Lower Northampton, just lost his name, Kelvin Jones. I haven't talked to him about that either. So I have to get that worked out. What I really wanted to be grateful about and recognize, I'm glad he came back on. He was gone for a while. He came back. We had a raffle at the Christian school on a golf cart that Ralph Dodd was kind enough to give us a cart, and we got about $11,000, I think it was. So we were very happy about that. I had in mind, believe it or not, if I were to have won, I didn't, to give it back to the school to raffle again. But we have a member who did that. Perhaps you guys know that. I know Stanley would know that. Jim Rich won the raffle, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, for the Habitat for Humanities, and gave the cart back to them to raffle again. And,
Yes.
and I think that really is a wonderful, wonderful gesture, and I commend you for that. And
Wow.
so the bulk of my Happy Dollars are not for my travels, although they were great. And I will say, when I was in, a couple of good things happened. We were in Germany, you were required to wear in the airport N95 masks. And we had those. We were on a cruise, the Viking cruise. Also, we left Germany on Sunday, and on Monday they started the close down of the Christmas markets and all that. So we just slipped right under the radar on that. And they were very circumspect about checking your cards in restaurants. And they even, if you guys know I've done the Christmas markets before. I've done one other time. There's a German drink called Glühwein, which is a hot mulled wine sort of thing. And we were to stand outside in a Christmas market and in Austria, in Vienna, and a very Germanic woman explained to me I would show my card or I wasn't getting any wine. So even outside, not just in the restaurants. And we were fine with that. And on the cruise, they tested you every morning before you left your room. There was no outbreak. We had 100 of 140 cabins rented and 140 of 195 rented, which is the biggest ship they had go out since the COVID thing started on Viking. And 100 of them were Brits. And if you haven't been around a bunch of Brits who are drinking and hooping it up, you've missed a great opportunity for life. And never for every Wales, Scotland, Ireland, England, all over. So we had a great time. I haven't missed being here. A couple of times I actually had court and was working, but I did, like I say, on my birthday, and if you didn't see it, at the end of my birthday, I stood on my head because I do that. And I got that from David Mitchell. If you know who David Mitchell was, he lived to be 96, I think. So I've got 24 more years to go. So you can put up with it or not, so there we are. So I'm happy to be back, $75.
Well,
John,
yeah,
I
I'm glad you gave $75 because you talked that long.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, it was
John.
good stuff. Don't forget,
He earned his $75.
I haven't been here in a while. This was mainly for Jim. I don't want to forget that. All things aside.
Yeah, and Chuck, I'd like to ride on the back of that because, and I'll tell you in a second, but I've got two $5 happiness contributions. One is I'm so happy to see John come back, only because whenever John comes back, it goes straight to our bottom line. And that's what it's and that's
John,
what it's
I will say, John, I do detect a loss of the West Virginia accent and a beef up of the European accent in you right now.
Let me just, I got to say one thing there. When I went to the funeral, a couple who lived in Cape Charles, they now live back in Norfolk. They're both German opera stars. He's a native of North Carolina. He was not able to come, but his wife was there. And I told her we'd just been in Germany. And she said, oh, yes, where was it? And I said, Passau. And she looked at me and she said, where? I said, Passau. Oh, Passau. I said, yeah, that was it. And she says, the way you say it, the way I say it, it sounds like somewhere in the South or in the Middle East somewhere. It's not Passau, it's Passau. I learned, I'm very dramatic now. I've gotten my accent going. Except when I went to Georgia, everything was honey and sweetie, and it was like going back home.
I thought you meant the country of Georgia in Europe.
I know it wasn't that. It was our own Georgia. We went there for Christmas and stayed for a few days. It was great. And
I have no
John,
I have
when's your
no room
birthday?
to talk about accents being from Baltimore.
Yeah, no kidding.
John,
Yes,
when's
sir.
your birthday
22nd.
of December?
Yes.
Okay, well, my birthday was yesterday.
Oh, well,
And-
happy birthday.
Hey guys, I haven't finished my happy dollars yet. You're having conversations.
And you stole my thunder, John.
Uh-oh.
You stole my thunder, man.
Did you go to a
Yesterday
funeral on
was-
your birthday?
Yesterday was number 75.
Hey Chuck,
And maybe
control these
stand up
guys,
to
Chuck.
All right, okay, hang on. Let Bill finish his happy dollar pronouncement.
They'll never let someone else say.
Actually, John and Reggie can talk all they want, as long as they put a little more in the pot. But I do want to get off because, but my other $5 is given in celebration of Jim Rich, because what John described, and I meant to give Jim a call when I read it somewhere that
When
he
I told you about it.
oh, you told me about it? I
Yeah.
thought I read about it. Anyway, Jim really connotes what Rotary and more than Rotary, humanity is all about.
Right.
And that is give it, and give it. I can't see you, Jim, but
He's there.
I think we forget that we should always look for that opportunity to give. And I'll share with you. And if you want me to give another $5, I will. But this story is very important. A good friend told me every day you should do something for somebody who you know can never in life pay you back. So if you wake up in the morning thinking about what am I going to do today? What am I going to give today? And it's not like a lot of stuff I do because I know I'm gonna get a deal out of it. But just give out a charity. You don't expect to be paid back. And you ought to give to people who can't pay you back anyway. So that's $15, and I'll shut up. So you guys can have your conversation again.
All right, Reggie, I'm not sure you finished up, and I don't think you made a pledge dollar amount yet.
Well, no, mine was the same as John's. To represent 75 years yesterday, 75 years
Oh,
old.
wow.
Woo!
All right.
And in addition to that, our son and daughter and grandchildren and great grandchildren surprised me for a birthday dinner celebration at the oyster farm, which I didn't even know they were in town, most of them, right? So it was a special time. So that's why I said you stole my thunder, John.
How much did you give, Reggie?
What'd you
As
say?
long as he didn't steal your oysters.
How much did you give?
75.
75.
$75.
That's gonna be a record
Wow.
day.
And I have to throw Jim Rich in there. My wife told me about you, Jim. I didn't even realize it. And I said, oh, he's a part of our group. That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Since all of us have been through a golf cart raffle, let me just say that the Habitat apparently sold $6,500, $7,000 worth of tickets. But the problem was that they were buying the cart, and that was about $4,500.
Oh, wow.
So they were looking at a profit of $2,000, $2,500. A lot of credit goes to Elizabeth Russell over at Eastern Shore Custom Carts. She offered I told her that we were interested in donating it back, and she offered to sell the cart. So for them, because she had just a list of people who were looking for them, and this year they're particularly hard to get. So I'm not sure how the final negotiations went out, but I think that Habitat probably made about $6,500 or $7,000 just off of the sale of the cart, and that would then have been added to whatever ticket sales they had. So they may have cleared almost $10,000 on that raffle.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh, and they particularly need it this year because much of their income comes from the groups. Oddly enough, it comes from the volunteers and volunteer groups that come into the area, stay for a week, work, and then most of them will also make financial contributions. COVID put an end to all of those groups traveling in and helping out, and it also put an end to their financial donations. So it's been a hard year. It's been a hard year for everyone, but that's how it particularly impacted Habitat.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Bill Murphy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, the price of Happy Dollars now is getting to the point that I hesitate to even speak up, but I've got 15 Happy Dollars, three different things. First of all, I'm happy that the Virginia Tech football season is finally over.
Wait. You have to wear a West Virginia shirt too. I'll give you one. I'll buy you.
Okay, a deal's a deal. You get it.
You're right.
The second $5, and John, this goes back to you, is that I really love to hear John talk about his Happy Dollars, because I think he's probably the only guy in the club that could tie a funeral, touring Germany, and standing on his head in one store. That's impressive, John. So I appreciate that. And the final $5 Happy Dollars. I guess I may be one of the only people happy about this, but as of a couple of days ago, I have someone who's going to take on the job of area governor for the Eastern Shore Club for the next 2 years. Yeah, Andre Elliott, I think most of you know him, up in Onancock, confirmed to me that he would be taking the job. I still need to talk to him about it a little bit and get with him and the district governor, but Andre's going to be taking that, and he's going to do a great job with it. So I'm real happy about that.
Congratulations, Bill. Way to go.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Go ahead, Jackie.
You're on mute, Jackie.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
I want to share with you all an experience that I had related to charity and giving. I was in line at Food Lion, just picking up a few things. Lady in front of me had purchased her items and then came to me and whispered in my ear and said, "Would you let me pay for your groceries?" And she says, I said, "No, I can't let you do that." She says, "Well, it's not going to be anything out of my pocket. I'm going to use food stamps."
How much?
I couldn't take it.
No, how much are you're having?
$5. But it was so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, "No, I'm going to get some money, some cash. So I can't take it," but it really made me feel good.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a donation of happy dollars. I'd like to make $1, but I have to see John stand on his head.
No, not for $1. It's $100. I'll do it right now. I have boots on today. Maybe I've been told I have a distinct advantage and I have a really big head, which I do, and no acetol. So there's not much to get up in the air, but you know, a lot of people try it. Not many people can do it. So you can say what you want. I
Jim,
will do it
stand
for
on-
money. I'll do it. Not today, because you can't see. I can't get the camera over there, but I'll be glad to do it at a club meeting.
Well,
Jim
I think
said-
Jim has beat
Jim
you
is
to
standing
the
on
punch.
his head.
Jim is cheating.
Good work.
That's not it. Hanging from the ceiling is not the same as turning the camera. No. And I did it on a full stomach right after I had my birthday dinner too. So that was pretty good.
Tucked it
Hello?
down.
Go ahead, Stan. You gave us $1. Anything else to add? You said $5 total.
Let's what I say, $5 total. The rest of it goes to I'm glad the snow stopped. How about that?
Yeah, really. Okay, anyone else with happy dollars? All right. Don't forget to call your buddies, invite friends and neighbors. We'll be doing this virtually for a little bit. If you do get somebody interested and they want to join us virtually, let me know their email address and we'll shoot the hot link over to them. Or you can forward the emails that come out with the hot link over to the people that might be interested in joining. So get the word out. Let's work on building up the membership a little bit. And everybody be safe out there and stay in touch with each other and let's be each other's advocate. Anything else for the good of Rotary? All right, Bill, why don't we slam up the four-way test? Number 1, is it the truth?
Truth.
2, is it fair to
Fair to all
all concerned?
concerned.
3, will it build
build
goodwill
goodwill
and
and
better
better
friendships?
Friendship.
And 4,
Will be
will it be beneficial
beneficial
to
to
all
all
concerned?
concerned.
And Stan,
Happy New Year.
there we go.
Happy New Year.
The people on the board of directors, please stick around. I think we wanted to have a few minutes after the general meeting to discuss a couple of things. So everybody else, enjoy your day. We'll see you next